Hello, generals, and welcome back to episode 3 of Lines of Battle Tactics, the breakdown. Before we jump into today's match, I just want to take a quick second and shout out the comment section from the last video. I was reading through all your feedback, and so many of you were asking for even more detailed, granular breakdowns of the gameplay. I hear you loud and clear. Starting right now, we are diving super deep into this battle. We are looking at the microplays, the positioning, and the advanced tactics. And this is exactly how we'll be moving forward on these videos. I honestly spent a ton of time in the editing room for this one to make sure that every single maneuver is crystal clear. So, I would absolutely love your feedback. If you are enjoying this new, hyper-detailed approach, please drop a comment below and let me know. If you like what you're seeing here, please hit that like button and subscribe if you have not yet joined the Bunal Brigade. And hey, if you're watching this on your mobile phone right now, take that 1 second to look down and hit that hype button. It only takes a moment, but it seriously helps drive us in the algorithm and gets these breakdowns out to more players. And speaking of support, we just crossed 2,000 subscribers this week. Wow. I am completely blown away by all the Bunal Brigade and everyone out there in the Lines of Battle community. Your support has been absolutely unreal. All right, enough talk. Let's get on with the match and the deep breakdown. Okay, General. So obviously one of the first things you want to do when you're starting a new match is kind of just look at the map, right? You want to see what's going on, what their side looks like, what my side looks like. And you can kind of see here, it's a tundra map. They have hills on their side. It's more open on my side, but we have the forest. You also see here, there are the initial victory points. Now they're more on my side. He has to cross a river. And that for me tells me what I want to do. This is where I think he's going to want to put his line to secure his hill, and that's where I'm anticipating his army being. Now below here is where I anticipate my army starting out. I'm going to want to move and make sure I secure my victory points first. This is where we're going to be battling over, is that middle section. You also see here there are some crossing points that he's going to have to go across. So in my opinion, I'm in a little bit better of a situation than he is. Also, you can see I have really the only forest section. I'm going to utilize that heavily, and that's going to be a big part of my strategy here. Occupy that forest and then let him cross the river. Now, let's take a quick look on just how the starting field is. Now, this is my view when we start. You can see I have a basic loadout. This is not changed at all. This is the standard default loadout. Lots of lines, grenadiers, and a good chunk of cav. Now I can't see his army when we're starting, but you can see that he is much heavier infantry. He's got those guard units and cuirassiers. Now again, I don't know that when we're starting the map, but this is how we're gonna start out on both sides. You can see those heavy units here. Now, again, my main goals here are going to be to occupy my victory points first and then kind of see how is he moving. Is he being aggressive? Is he coming up to occupy the center immediately? Or is he going to play more defensive? That's one of my first steps. So what we're going to want to do is move up our cav as quickly as possible to scout. You can see them using the roads as well. Try and always use the roads because you get a movement bonus. Now here I see that he is moving his guys up. I'm going to start pulling back because I want to play a little bit more defensively versus aggressively. Now we're going to get into more breakdowns later, but that's just the opening move. You can see his opening move now. He's being much more aggressive, using the roads less, and he's again moving his cav on that right side very, very quickly and pushing into the center map already and into my map actually. So again, here's that overall view. You can see his right side is really moving fast and my cav is on the other side. So he's got a very good position on his side. Let's zoom in here on the left though, the left flank now. Now, this is a kind of funny thing. I went to go and meet his army or his cav right here. You can see I'm moving up. I didn't see that he's going to cross the river. I don't want to do that. I'm going to want to back up a little bit now. I want him to come to me, right? I want to draw him in. That's called a feint. Now, I'm calculating right now that cav, I see him up there. I get a little bit greedy. I'm like, he's coming alone. I want to attack him. But as you can see, my cav kind of follows him and doesn't fall the right way. fortunately enough, I'm able to kind of position my dragoons to stop his advance, slow them down, and then you're going to see I'm going to then kind of flip things around and then attack. This was actually a bad move by me, but I was able to kind of salvage it. See, I stopped his army. Now I'm going to move back, and it actually works out for me in the long run, though that could have went very bad for me. Here's that view again. You can also see, though, he did make some moves on my skirmishers there. Okay, now let's get really focused here on the right flank. Again, he is moving his cav up way quicker, and I have less cav. This is a great move by him, and you can see my artillery are out in the open. He's already taken out one dragoon. He's going to come after my artillery, and he did good. I was able to form squares and mop him up, but this was going to be very bad. This is actually not great. His cuirassiers are moving in. Um, he starts pulling back, which is probably smart, but he probably could have taken out some more of my troops. I'm now pulling back as well to kind of salvage. That was a great opening move by him. He took out a couple units and he took out an artillery and he forced me to square up, which is going to slow down my advance. You can see here, I thought he was going to stay up there, but he was actually able to move forward, and that's a good move. He was aggressive on this side where I was light, and he took advantage of that. See that much closer here. My artillery are just out in the wind. That is not a good position. And he also flanks this dragoon and completely wipes them out immediately. You can see I've already started to form squares, but this artillery is out in the open and cannot be defended. And look at this Cuirassier. This Cuirassier actually is about to take out this square, which is amazing. A squared unit, and the cavalry is actually doing really well. However, I was able to bring my hussars up and push back his Cuirassiers at the end here. He did finally actually rout my infantry, but then I was able to smash that guy. So again, that was very lucky for me to able to maintain. He could have came and swiped out all those artillery, which would have put me in a seriously bad position. Here's that kind of in a faster pace. You can see the opening moves here. On the left, I'm heavy with my cav. I make a sweep around. I make a good move. On the right, he's much stronger, and he actually does very good, but then kind of backs up because my army is starting to form in front of him. He also pushed his skirmishers up a little bit farther than I would have suggested, but he was doing pretty good in that initial opening. Here is our center left. Now, this is where a lot of that action is going because I have so many cav over here. And again, you see this move. I was chasing them. It didn't really work out, but you can see here's where I'm going to draw my line. I want to have enough space across my victory points, so I secure the victory points. And I also want to be in a place where I can contest the center line. I'm not pushing towards the center line yet because I want him to come to me and push to me. I want to be in a defensive position when possible so that I can use my artillery. I'm pulling them up, and he has to march across the field under my artillery fire, right? I want to loosen his army up, and so that when he gets to my infantry, it's a much easier job to do. Now you can see here, he's actually moving very heavily and he's knocking out my infantry pretty hard. I'm in a position now where I need to do something. I can't let his artillery just sit there and fight me. So I'm going to bring my cav up in almost a bit of a bad mission, but I had to do it, right? I couldn't just let those guys sit there, and I was lucky enough to find a gap and take out one of his artillery and one of his cav as well. Though you can see those guys are kind of stuck up there and they're not going to be able to do well until I see that guy facing backwards, right? So that was another good move by me. And I actually did get his artillery having to sacrifice one of my infantry, right? If you look here now, his center left has been almost completely crushed, but I also have this gap here. Now watch this gap on my lower flank. I've got myself open there. So again, let's watch these cav. These cav are going to move up into the gap. This is dangerous, but it had to happen in my opinion. And then I see some, but then again, here's this gap, right? This gap is going to be dangerous, and I see some infantry moving in. You can see on my side, I'm going to try and build a flank or a line to protect my flank here with my infantry. Are they going to be there in time? Let's find out. You can see he's in a column. He's got a couple columns moving in here, and he does flank my infantry and wipes them out pretty quick. However, my line hits his flank, and this other line is strong enough to hold them off while my cav comes back in and wipes them out. So again, that was an excellent move to flank my guys, but I was able to build that line. And now you can see I'm going to build a line that's more of an angle, right? You kind of want to build those angles so you can get multiple units firing uh, in an angle, basically, right? So you're kind of marching them into a kill zone. Now, again, he's got his skirmishers up there that are doing damage to my artillery. I've got to kind of get them out. See, look, he's doing pretty good. He's really doing good at hitting my flanks here. But luckily enough, I have quite a few guys coming in. But he makes a square here, and he, as you can see, defends pretty well with his square. I cannot break his square. He forms a column and boom, smashes into them. But I believe it because these guys are in the forest, they are able to hold him off, which again, I'm very lucky. If he would have flanked that, that could have turned very bad for me. So here we have this flank. This whole line here is now kind of devastated his line and has done well. We can see that kind of play out here in a little bit more real time now, the kind of full map of what's going on. So again, my left, I wanted to move in there and get those artillery because they're doing a lot of damage to my guys. I could not sustain that. We move our cav in. You can see on the right side too, we're trying to force them as well. But then look at those 3 regiments there. I tried to block them and it worked out well for me. I was able to block and hold his 2. My cav came in there and wiped out his flank. So at this point now, my left, his right is basically useless. He's got a lot of guards marching in, which is dangerous, but the flank is now taken, and I'm going to try and build that angled line here if I can. Similar to what I have on the right side, right? You have a straight line and then a kind of angled line on the other side. And here's the center. The center is where a lot of things happen, right? So I have this forest. I'm going to bring my skirmishers into the forest because that's where they're really, really good. And you can see he charges his in. It doesn't do that well for him. He's going to lose a good chunk of men there attacking my forest guys. But you can also see he's being very aggressive. He's taking over the whole center, his victory points in the center. I'm going to, though, form this line because it's going to be a more defensive line. But you can also see, look at these artillery. These artillery are going to start doing a lot of damage to my skirmishers. Again, I'm in a position where I can't just let them sit there and start pinging at me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to advance my skirmishers, which, it's not the best move in the world, but I really don't know if I had much else I could do at this point. So I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to try and harass his artillery. But and you can see it, right? His artillery is just wiping me out. I could not let them just stand there and take it. Otherwise, there would be no opportunity for me to attack at all. When I pull them up, though, you can see he's got his cavalry ready to go. And that's a great move. He's going to come out in here with his 2 cav units and really decimate my skirmishers. Now, again, tell me in the comments below, what do you think I should have done here? Should I back everybody off? Should I advance stronger? I don't know. Again, look what his artillery are doing to my line infantry. He's going to wipe me out. I have to do something about those artillery. Otherwise, they're just going to slowly wipe me out. He's doing really good here. He's got a decent, strong line. My forest is not doing as well as I thought it was going to do, and he's going to start advancing. I need to defend this line, or else I'm going to lose the entire center. He's going to divide and conquer me with his heavy units, especially because he's got guards and cuirassiers. So we bring up our cav because there's a gap, and while we're kind of sacrificing men, we are doing damage against his artillery. You can see he's moved up his infantry, but we have our own artillery here blasting away at him. We're weakening his center advance here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to, well, you can see here, right? He's got a lot of defensive line. I have to do something because he's moving up here and he's going to threaten my center. But what we're doing again is we're really wiping those guys out in the middle. And you see I'm bringing up a guy here in the back, a line infantry. We're trying right now to loosen them up as best we can. And I got these 2 units here. They're going to charge in and break his center. So this is key. Look at this. We've already damaged them pretty well. This guy's going to move the other way. Boom, boom. We've taken out 3 of his units. This is basically his push has now been defended. You can see now there's a giant gap in his center. Even though he's got a couple guys moving down here in the south, his center is now completely open. And we have, in my opinion, forced him into a position he didn't want to be in. These guys down here were doing pretty well, but we're able to mop them up, as you can see. And now it's completely open in the center. At this point in the game, my left and the center have now been wiped out. And as you can see there, that was the end of the turn. So that is how we got this victory here. Now, generals, here we're going to watch the whole thing with no interruptions, no annotations. You can see the whole match play out. Again, this was with Talvi Fox, a subscriber and a great friend of the channel. He did really well. This went all 36 matches, and if you look at the bar at the top, there was no real winner until late in the game around turn 22, 23. He really had me going. And again, if his center would have pushed harder into the forest, I think he would have probably got the win out of here. He did not use his heavy infantry, his guard units quick enough. You can see that they're sitting up there in the back in defensive position. He should have moved those up front, taken over the forest, and he would have, I think, probably won this. But luckily enough, like I said, right, we did really well on our left flank. We were able to basically disintegrate his left flank, which gave me opportunity to wheel around. And then my right flank was fairly quiet. We didn't really move that much on the right flank. It was really all about the left and the center for us. But again, you can see his artillery are really wiping us out. We had to do something. And here goes our cav up there. Even though we had to sacrifice our dragoons, they were able to minimize his artillery ability while we set up our line here. Again, my whole left was open, so I can move my cav in there, and he's got his heavy units over there, but they're not aggressive enough. They should have been pushing much harder. Now the center here is very weak for me, very close. My whole point here was I'm weakening those 2 or 3 infantry units so that now I can charge in and break them, right? Because he has no support in the center, and then I'm able to take over that center map. You can see right now the blue, we just went up to victory. Up until this point, up until turn 30, it was even. You can also see on the right, I'm getting a little bit of charges going in, but that was a little bit less of a concern. And by this point, you know, it was still almost anyone's game, but really this was about where it ended. Excellent match, generals. Hopefully you enjoyed that breakdown. Okay, generals, and that is going to wrap it up for this match. I really hope you guys enjoyed this more intense, granular breakdown of the tactics today. Like I mentioned at the start, I put a lot of extra time into the editing of this one to give you guys the deepest analysis possible. So please jump into the comments right now and let me know, did that extra detail pay off? Is this the level of strategy and tactics you want to see in the next episode? If you did enjoy this deep dive, please drop me a like on this video and make sure that you are subscribed to Mr. Bunal Gaming so you never miss another breakdown. And once again, for everyone watching on your phone, take that quick second to please look down below the video and hit that hype button. It is a massive help for the algorithm and pushes our videos out to more strategy fans. Thank you all again for your incredible support in helping us cross 2,000 subscribers. The Bunal community is the best on YouTube, hands down, and I thank you so much for being here. Keep mastering those lines, and I will see you on the next battlefield.